All right, welcome to the Fantasy Trail. The season starts now. This is episode 3 of season 3. I'm, of course, Matt, and I'm joined with
JT here.
This is Mike here. Got the game on in the background. Hope I'm not breaking a bunch of copyright laws.
Here we go, man. Uh-oh, we got a weather delay.
I think it's great. I bet you'll be able. I bet you shorter show. I'd imagine maybe we'd be able to not even probably miss too much of the game here.
I can't remember this ever happening before.
You mean for the start of a season or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many years they've been doing this Thursday game. It goes back to when I was in college, I want to say, and I cannot remember them ever having a weather delay to start the season. It's pretty strange.
It is a little bit strange, sure, but they've had some weather delays last year. I mean, it was like, it's not going to say regular, but a couple I thought in Tampa Bay.
Fair enough. Well, what do you want to talk about today here, fellas?
Hold on. They're showing a hype video on TV. I've watched.
So Nick Foles raising the trophy. You know what we were mentioning, which is interesting that Nick Foles is being watched here, is that I was wondering maybe if we'd want to get into maybe just some of the injuries that were happening. And I think one of the ones that we would be interesting to start with maybe is the Carson Wentz one. I know there were a lot of people, and there was some speculation that he might actually be able to start the season with the ACL tear. That's a nay as of tonight. But what are your thoughts about that, guys?
Okay, so I drafted him. I drafted him relatively early. Everything I heard from Philly beat writers were he was going to be ready for week 1. He looked amazing. All the reports out of camp, they were holding him out. It was, and then, the doctor came out with his report. It wouldn't be the worst thing. They are down. They don't have Jeffrey. They just put Matt Collins on injured reserve today. So look, they have Nelson Aguilar and Mike Wallace, who's never played with them in a real game. So it's going to be an adjustment, and I think maybe they're just trying to, Atlanta doesn't have that bad of a defense. I think maybe they're just trying to be a little bit cautious.
The point spread tomorrow started at 4, and it's down to 1.5 on some of the lines.
I heard the Eagles were actually underdogs.
Yeah,
that's very possible.
I think it's smart. Your division is garbage. I don't think anybody's going to be very good. The Giants are maybe going to be the best other team. Nobody's
the Cowboys.
Cowboys are horrible. You can go 8-8. You can punt this game. You need Wentz's health a lot more than you need one win.
Yeah,
but I kind of do think Atlanta is legit though, and I'm actually kind of picking them to have a good season.
And but honestly, I wouldn't mind having Wentz sit out the entire season if it meant
the longevity.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Fair enough.
They say if you can wait a full year between ACL, I think it's.
It happened in late December. Am I correct, Tamala?
If you make it 12 months, the chance of re-injuring it drops down tremendously.
Okay.
And he's not going to be there.
So I honestly I think he'll probably be out 2 weeks and then he'll start.
What about another one that really affected our league? How about McKinnon? That's we wait to draft for as long
out all year. I drafted him in another one. I just thought that part of a Shanahan offense does involve a lot of dump off passing to the running back.
Yeah,
and he was going high in a lot of leagues.
He was going high. He was going too high in a lot of leagues, though. I mean, new situation.
A lot of hype.
He when has he ever stayed healthy?
He's never had to shoulder a full load, to be fair, so we've never really needed him to stay healthy.
Even not shouldering a full load, he's never stayed healthy.
Yeah, I know. What? Who drafted Breda?
Was that
probably Jake? Jake used to love that guy.
Got him in my auction league for $1.
So,
yeah, it was Jake. Jake's got that backup. I snagged Morris. I don't think Morris is going to become much of anything, but
but another injury. I mean, Geis, you picked up Peterson last couple picks. I mean,
one of my last picks.
And he's starting. That looks like that's going to be a good pick.
I know. I'm debating if I want to play him this week all of a sudden. I'm not sure I want to bench, but if Fuller isn't 100%, I might be switching in AP. Things I never thought I'd be saying.
Which is very strange. And I just really, if you asked me, and granted, he had some carries during the preseason, but if you asked me, I would have just said he was done.
I thought so too. He looked bad in New Orleans.
I mean, like, I just thought this was done. I thought that was it.
He didn't look bad in Arizona.
He had a couple good games.
Until he got hurt.
Do you think he needs to be – I've heard this theory floated, that he needs to be like a workhorse back. He doesn't do well, like, just with a couple carries here and there. He's very good at, like, beating up defensive lines.
Yeah, he absolutely –
so eventually they get worn out from hitting him.
He does.
Yeah.
And just putting him in every once in a while isn't great.
But you know what?
Injuries that you guys have seen? What up?
Say that again.
Any other big injuries that have come across your radar since we drafted, especially?
No, I do hate to see what kind of happened, and there were two teams in particular that just seemed to take a little bit of a hit in the preseason. I don't have the specifics, but they were both teams that were kind of had some high hopes, and I know San Francisco took a couple of rough injuries, and so did Minnesota, which was surprisingly healthy last year.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about Cook. I mean, besides AP, how many running backs come back from ACL and are as strong the next year?
Did you see that right now they're not sure what his workload's going to be for week 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
news came out today that it might.
In my other league, I took the handcuff on Murray.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's getting a bunch more carries than they thought originally.
I mean, what about the Raiders? I mean, trading Mac, yes, it's probably the right move in the long run, but their defense is going to be so terrible this year.
You know what I want to say, though, and this is what I really heard the situation was in Oakland. I heard that they honestly don't have the money. Like, they honestly didn't have the money to sign him for the long-term deal. They're cash poor right now until the move to Vegas. They just don't have it. And to be able to get 2 first-rounders from a team that I think those are 2 potential top 10 picks for 2 years in a row, I'm going to tell you, I actually think – they kind of made out in the deal.
I see. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Chicago's could be one of those teams where they turn it around and they turn it around.
You're saying you believe in Trubisky is what you're saying.
Not necessarily. I think they're going to have a top 10 defense now. Yeah.
They had a good defense last year.
They did have a good defense, a sneakily good defense last year, and maximum.
But 2 first-round picks, man. I mean, that's a lot to give up for one player.
Absolutely. But they have new receivers, a new tight end, not a total new quarterback, but I mean,
as I would say, what would Bill Belichick do with those 2 picks?
Yeah.
Move them down, trade them down, rebuild this entire team.
I don't think I don't think it's a bad move, but
I don't think John Gruden will do that. I think Bill Belichick could do that.
Well, I don't know if you saw the report that just came out about Wentz. Have you seen that?
No.
They just announced that he will be out for at least several more weeks. They say October looks to be his earliest return. So that kind of goes along with what you were saying, but they are not looking at trying to rush him back. They want him 100% healthy. I think they're looking at their division being garbage, and they're saying Foles is a very serviceable backup. Unless Foles.
Do you know what's one of the teams that I think could be one of your surprises in that division, JT, is I could see the Giants being better than last year. They're the only team that I think will improve from last year.
Eli's
in
back.
that division.
Can I ask a question about my team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put Jeffrey on the IR with all intentions of holding him out for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Yes.
The season technically hasn't started yet. Can I put Wentz on the IR?
This is exactly what we're talking about.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
I would say the only way you can put him on the IR is because the season officially hasn't started. But I mean, we're like 17 minutes from that, man.
Like that is actually one of the problems with this rule that I kind of will say.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, unless it doesn't let you do it because the Jeffrey game is technically considered started. If the site has it that the game is started, I think you can't do it.
I think the site probably updates in real time here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
but it locks. It locks a X amount of time before, even in the weather delay. So I think if it were preseason, if he hadn't really missed a game, I think that's okay. But I think the minute he is not playing for you and on that IR, it's 4 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
So what about another big, which isn't really an injury, but what about the Bell holdout? And I want to hear maybe your thoughts on it in general, and maybe not even just from the fantasy perspective. What's your perspective on this with the league? Because it always seems like ownership has leverage. And right now, I think that could turn if Bell actually sticks through this and holds out. What are your guys' thoughts?
The report that just came out a couple minutes ago is that they think he's going to sign Saturday. With the idea being that if he signs Saturday, it's what Aaron Donald did last year. It allows him to pull his first game check. He gets it because he's on the roster, but he obviously doesn't play. So he basically gets a free check, saves his body for a week. I don't know. And beyond that, I think his teammates are a little pissed at him. I think they're tired of this.
Yeah, I've never heard of the teammates coming out like that, like they did. So
they're a locker room who I don't think is that buttoned up. They're a rah-rah team at home. That's why you see huge differences between home and away. I think it's because they're this rah-rah team that does all this. I don't think they're the most buttoned-up team.
Yeah,
whether it's from Oscar Villanueva, they have different messaging. They have different players saying different things. They're not a team who I think is like a Bill Belichick buckled-up team.
Listen, I'm not sure he's wrong. I think it's a super frustrating thing, but your team has collectively bargained. Like you worked for this, and it may not be fair, but you got to get a better rep than
in the collective bargaining agreement, what happened is the players did agree to the double franchise tag, which is what he's under, and they traded it for some points, on the percentage of how you want revenue shared. So I mean, you have an ownership group saying, "Hey, listen, we'll give you 2%, but we want to be able to franchise you twice," and people said yes.
I get the linemen being mad. I mean, a couple of them were saying, "Listen, man, you make 3-4 times what I do, and
I'm making $17 million this season, JT."
Yeah, I'm out there blocking and protect for you. Like, I understand he's looking for his future. I'm not saying that he's 100% wrong, but he's tearing this team up a little bit right now.
It has to be met through the collective bargaining agreement as opposed to an individual player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess.
That's how this is. And we had a deal.
Every year, it's 1-2 big name players. It's really no fun, especially when you're a fan of the team.
Fantasy football.
Yeah. It's bad for the NFL in a lot of ways.
Well, do you know what could it really solve some of this as well, JT? Is in the collective bargaining agreement, maybe some guaranteed money or guaranteeing the money to some extent could completely change the holdout situation.
Totally. And you know what? On top of everything else,
because you're only expecting it from one side.
My stinking opponent picked up Connor.
Yes.
That evil Tamala.
No, I didn't pick him up. I drafted him. I'm trying to get confirmation of that Wentz news, and I can't.
It's all right, buddy. It's all right.
You can't do it?
No, I'm not seeing anything.
So, but I have seen it. But JT, I did see the situation last night actually affect Bell's draft stock. On the auction, he was listed as the #1 running back, but did not receive #1 money.
Yeah.
No one was sure exactly when he was going to play.
I got him #3 in my bigger league.
A snake draft league.
Yeah. But even so, like.
See, Ezekiel went for more money than him in this league, and Gurley. They bumped ahead of him.
Yeah. I picked up the reason I picked up Connor. Honestly, I just thought Bell was going to pull a hammy and be out or be not 100%.
Well, it depends on conditioning. He didn't do any camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but I couldn't think of any other injuries that came along that were really a big deal. Anything that stood out for you guys in terms of that?
I mean, I think you're going to see a big difference this year in defenses. I think there are going to be like the top 6 defenses are going to be amazing, and the rest of the league is going to be mediocre at best.
I could kind of see that happening. I listened to a podcast that I found interesting that was saying that our defense is really what we think they are. Like these top offenses, whether it being the Eagles or the Patriots, a lot of times no defenses are stopping them, whether it's Jacksonville or Minnesota or any of these ones who we think are just incredible. When it really comes down to it, the prolific offenses under the new rules are just able to move the ball if you have the quarterback and the situation correct.
Scarano, give me your top 5 defenses.
I'm going to go Saxonville, which I think is lame.
Okay.
I'm going to go Minnesota. I'm going to go Chicago. And then it gets a little bit sketchy for me. I might even say Carolina in here somewhere. They're definitely up front, right up there. I'm struggling a little bit at 5 here.
I think it's absurd for us to sit
I
here.
think the Eagles are up there.
It's how can we possibly know? It's so many things we didn't know. Nobody was going to look at Jacksonville and think they're going to be as good as that last year. And I heard a couple stats that you mentioned earlier, Mike, about healthiness. I think Minnesota's starters missed 1 game. Jacksonville's starters missed 2 games.
I heard they're just incredibly healthy in Minnesota.
That's not sustainable. Kamala, I would like to bring one thing to your attention.
Okay.
We were having a little debate off the air about a certain player that I drafted, and then I thought better of it, and I dropped him, at least in my opinion, and you picked him right up. His name is Danny Amendola, and I was thinking that he's somebody that really only succeeds in the Patriots system, and even there, not amazingly so. And you said you thought he'd had some good years. What would you say a good yards per game would have been for him in St. Louis?
I bet you he got more receptions than yards.
No,
but me?
Scrown up. This is not your game.
No.
60 yards a game. I'm going to say 6 receptions. Or no, I'm going to say 7 to 8 receptions, 60 yards.
He hit 60 yards 1 time in St. Louis, and it was 60.5.
How many receptions?
Were 23, 40, and 45.
Okay.
That's pretty low. How many touchdowns do you think he had at most in any year in St. Louis?
Oh, I like 2.
Yep. 3. 3's his most.
Yeah, but still.
He never had more than 5 receptions a game.
But JT, I will say this: Devontae Parker is out this week,
buddy. That's fine. I'm telling you, it's Ryan Tannehill, and I'm just not a fan of a non-New England player playing well when they leave New England.
But no,
they never do.
So, but this is my point. I think out of all the receivers who would slide into the Landry role, it would be him. The most similar skill set.
I don't think he's that good.
I don't think he has the speed, but
I think that Brady made him good last year, and I
think Brady makes a lot of guys good, man.
Yeah. So
Welker.
That's my that's
all right. I like it. I like it.
My words. I dropped him quick, and I dropped him for a guy that might not be anything, but I just don't think he's very good.
I got him for $1 in my auction league.
I kind of want to make a bet with you, but I don't know who I would bet with against. He has a better game than.
No. I don't like that. Let's do this one. 500 yards. Yes or no?
No, I don't like that. I'm not looking necessarily at yards. I'm looking at receptions. In our full point PPR,
50 receptions.
But are you looking
nice round numbers here, buddy?
Are you just looking receptions in like week 1?
I would say I would rather do it per game because honestly, I think
you guys are betting on some random players' receptions for 1 game. This is a definite sign of degenerate gamblers.
Dude, if this isn't the time they need to start this weather delay game, I don't know what is.
I would say 6 receptions per game played.
I would go under on that.
You're saying you think he gets 96 receptions?
He didn't do the math.
I was going with 50, and I think you would have had JT at betting at 50.
Never had more than 80. Under.
I love it.
What did Landry have last year? And he had a huge year last year.
Oh,
Landry
yeah. I'm
gets
sure.
a lot of targets.
I'm sure Danny Amendola is out there in Miami going, bless him.
I don't know. I think.
All right, guys. any other major injuries we want to talk about here? People who are not playing.
No, I think the next thing is why don't we do some MVP talk? What do you think?
I love it.
I want two things. I want a fantasy MVP and a real MVP.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Okay, I will say Gurley will be fantasy MVP again.
All right.
And then real MVP.
That's Nick Foles.
That's a little harder. Nick Foles.
No, I'm gonna say Luck. Bringing them to.
Ooh, I like that one.
That's bold.
Little bit of a dig.
That's bold. Okay. Scarano, you want me to go or you got an idea?
I'll take one. For my fantasy MVP, I do think it's going to be Ezekiel Elliott. I think he comes back, does the full season, really completely puts up the numbers. For my real MVP, I think Rodgers is going to show. They've improved on the defensive side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers has won every single playoff game where his defense has kept the opposing team under 28. I just think that with the improvement on defense, I have an argument that Rodgers is one of the best to lace him up, and not a lot of people agree with me. They always want to go right to the Super Bowls. But I want to talk about, there's a guy who does not have the surrounding cast, doesn't seem to have the front office that's able to bring in drafting and free agents that maybe they did years ago. I think that Rodgers is going to take it.
Interesting.
They're in the money.
That's the consensus pick, and I think it's obviously a good one. Quarterback does seem to be the best idea. I think my fantasy one is going to be DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
I think he is obviously extremely talented, and he had 14 touchdowns last year that were mostly thrown by guys named like Tom Savage, and like it's just horrible quarterbacks. Watson staying healthy is a complete crapshoot. It's very much contingent on that. He can put up great numbers without it, but obviously it really helps when you have a good quarterback. But I think if that happens, I think putting up a monster season. I wish I had him.
Yeah.
Real MVP.
It is surprising that he put up 14 when I would have said, oh, Watson's out there. He had an off year. I think some of his numbers may be contingent on Watson staying healthy, though.
Sure. Real MVP, I say Phillip Rivers.
Ooh.
Which have a really good looking offense. I think that they're going to be better this year than they were. They won't lose all those last minute games. Hopefully
They won, what was it, 8 of their last 9, was it?
Yeah, it started looking good. I know they're kind of a Cinderella.
Their last 2 losses were to playoff teams.
Yeah.
It started with the 0-4 start, each of which was a possession away with the worst field goal kicking in the league. I have an argument that there were 2 teams better than the Chargers at the end of the last season, and they were called the Eagles and the Patriots.
Yeah, but they need to stay healthy. They've already had some injuries this year.
Everybody needs to stay healthy, man. And as your Eagles proved last year, even if you don't, if you have the right people in the backup places, you're okay.
Yeah, I think they drafted well. They shored up the middle. They shored up the middle of that defense, which is where they needed a little bit of help.
Yeah, but I mean, they're already saying Bosa might not play Sunday. But they've had terrible injuries along the offensive line the past 2 years.
Yeah, it makes or breaks.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit up some Super Bowl picks. And not that's fantasy related, but where were you going to go for that? Scott and I were talking about this the other day.
JT, I am really on the fence on my AFC one. I'm going to give you who I think it is, and I'm going to stick with my original one. But I don't like what's going on right now in their locker room. And I am going to say that I think the Steelers are going to win the AFC. I think Big Ben has it in them. Their offense is incredibly explosive, and it seems that the rules now are just favoring offense more. And on the other side of that coin, again, the same principle I'm applying is I think it's going to be the Packers. I'm really on the fence and can't decide. And, Jay, I was leaning towards your Chargers on this one on the AFC side. I was starting to think about it. Like, they're not buttoned up. Things are looking bad in the locker room already. I think the Packers are going to take this one. I think they're shoring up their secondary. It would have been nice if the Packers could have made a move on Khalil Mack. That would have been a game changer. Listen, they paid Rodgers the money. The Rams were paying 5 guys. The Packers could pay 2.
What were the Rams doing trying to trade for Mack, though? How would they have paid? Like, I don't understand how they would have.
What would you? They're not paying Goff any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't have the 2 highest paid defensive players on your team.
Is that a rule or just like?
Is that a rule? Or is that like you just saying it?
No,
Yeah,
I would say this: Aaron Donald, Nagamathan Suh, and Khalil Mack would be unstoppable. There'd be nothing.
And so that's where I'll go with my picks. I think 2 defenses leading the way: Jacksonville,
Okay.
LA.
Wow. All right. Thinks Jacksonville makes a return performance.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said,
I'm not as hot on Jacksonville, Matt. I'm going to tell you a lot of their quarterbacks are returning. If Luck is back, if Luck comes, I mean, in their division, if Luck comes back and Watson comes back.
Yeah, Bortles is back. That is a down.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't speak correctly. If those 2 quarterbacks are back, their division gets a lot harder.
All right. Hey, so I think this is interesting. The 3 of us sitting here, we have 3 different teams for both leagues that we think are going to make the Super Bowl. Because I was thinking Chargers, Vikings.
Okay.
And I can't remember a time when we didn't at least some of us settle on one team to have a consensus on.
Well, you know what NFL means, JT. Not for long,
buddy. Yes.
And which is what I like the most about the league, which is part of what I like about the collective bargaining agreement, that like you have hope every year. Every year, your team could put it together, and within a couple of years, you could go from last place like the Eagles to winning a Super Bowl.
All right, I was thinking one more thing before we wrapped up, Tamala and Scarano here. I've got this pulled up. I wanted to see what people have going tonight. I think that Thursday night can really make or break your week. It can really make you feel good going into school.
One big game for me.
Friday.
But now I will say, and you guys know this, I hate when players play.
I love it.
I know. Smile likes players to play at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
1 o'clock on Sunday.
I think it throws them off.
Meat and potatoes.
And
I will say this: this isn't a typical Thursday game, though.
Yeah,
a typical Thursday game involves no rest.
This is your best one. So let's look at our matchup first, Tamala. I have nobody, and in fact, you're gonna love this. The vast majority of my squad is playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Bad news for you, man.
You have Ertz, and you have the Eagles defense.
Yep.
But between the 2 of us, other than that, you only have 1 player, a kicker, that is going on Monday nights. So we do not have a lot happening other than Sunday during the day.
Yeah.
All right. Joelle versus Angela. Tonight, Joelle has nothing. Angela has nothing. So they're not paying attention. Joelle's got 1 guy, it looks like, on Monday night, Golden Tate, and 2 guys and a defense. And Angela has nothing. So she has a little Sunday night, but Joelle looks like I'm saying that backwards, aren't I? Sorry, Tate and the Lions are for Angela. Joelle's got Rodgers on Sunday night. But nothing tonight. That's weird. That's always weird to me when there are no Thursday matchups. What about you, Scarano? You got anybody tonight?
Oh, I got Julio right now.
Oh, he's got Julio.
First draft pick. It's huge.
What about Cuzzy? Is Cuzzy rolling with anybody?
Oh, hold on here. I'm bringing it up.
Looking at it now. She's got.
This is always a family matchup the first week. I absolutely love it.
She's got nothing, and it looks like based on your pickup that you just made, it's going to be Jared Cook versus Robert Woods on Monday night. That'll be a riveting matchup right there.
Keep going here, buddy.
All right, let's see. Jake versus Casey. I'm looking over Jake's squad.
Can we take a timeout real quick?
Go for it.
What was Casey doing picking up Kaepernick?
I think he appreciates the fact that he looks like him. He gets excited that he thinks he's in a Nike commercial now.
He's trolling. He's trolling everybody, and he's sacrificing his team to do it. That's what he's doing.
Buddy, sacrifice away.
I know.
Away.
It's taking Toby Gerhart in the first round. It's foolishness, and I don't like these shenanigans.
Sacrifice away. Perfectly fine. Casey has Devonta Freeman tonight.
Yes.
Who knows how much he'll play?
What's that?
I hear the knee's not good.
Really? I had not heard that. Well, other than that, I'm not seeing anything. So Jake's got One guy Monday night, Isaiah Crowell, currently in the lineup, and Casey has nothing. Boy, these Monday night matchups are
I don't seem to have a whole bunch now.
boring. Michael Thomas versus Richard. Michael Thomas is running Ajayi and Aguilar. That's tonight for him. And Richard is running out there Jake Elliott. All right, at least a little something for both of them, a little more for them.
A little bit there.
Monday night, Michael's got Rams D, and Richard has Cooks and Cooper. Mike's Grano favorite.
Don't draft him.
So I think Richard's going to be behind, but he's got a couple big-time names receiver-wise going on Monday night. And the last one is Brian versus Colin. Brian has nobody going tonight, and Colin has Matt Bryant for Atlanta, and that's it.
It seems sparse, doesn't it?
It does.
I probably have the most running on this game then, don't I?
But that means Tevin Coleman's not being played by somebody. I'm kind of surprised at that.
Matt Ryan's not being played.
Ryan's not being played. And then let's see. For Brian, Monday night, he's got Robbie Anderson only, and Colin's bringing out some big guns. He's got Gurley and Cooper Kupp and Kerryon Johnson.
I hate a day like that where you know you need like 50 points to pull the win. Yeah. I hate it.
And he's got Allen Robinson and Trey Burton.
Good luck falling asleep.
Listen to this, Grano. On top of that, he's got Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, and Jordan Howard going Sunday night. So during the early game, he's got 3 players.
You know, I don't necessarily subscribe to the Matt Tamala idea of always wanting to be Sunday at 1. I play the better guy, but it is frustrating. I find myself staying up later.
Yeah, but no,
I just concern myself with it.
But it's more Thursday night than Sunday night and Monday night.
Thursday is a bad deal. I heard Ray Lewis speak about this, and he said you just have no idea the beating your body takes, and you're just not ready to go by Thursday.
And, you know, and I just think, I mean, a couple years ago they did a study, and scoring was down. I don't necessarily buy into that. I just think it's
They used to have some bad games, though, too. They used to have, like, Tennessee and Jacksonville a lot.
Yeah, it used to be crummy games on purpose. But
so, I mean, you know, that's a little.
Like it. I still don't like it. I'd get rid of it. If there was going to get rid of one thing, I'd get rid of Thursday games. I don't need it. I really don't. I don't watch much of them anyway. They're on weird networks sometimes.
You know what? What I would really like is I know that this has to do with broadcasting rights, but I'd like maybe another 4 o'clock game. You know how they have 2 1 o'clock games, then usually 1 4 o'clock game? Wouldn't that be bad? I know, but then you're splitting an audience. I get it.
But okay, so let's do one more thing. I know we said this was going to be the last thing, but fantasy player of the week.
Oh boy, I had this one.
Wait, I know when to get the folks mad. Tom Brady.
Okay. Early in the season, not bad. I'm gonna go with Antonio Brown.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. They're gonna have to really ride him.
Without Le'Veon.
Without Bell, his numbers skyrocket more than they already are.
I'm going to go not the guy in our league, but the player, Michael Thomas. Crappy team that the Saints are going against. Cameron Meredith now is the second receiver. I don't know if Breeze will have a comfort level with him yet. I think he's going to target.
Yeah, I think they predicted a 10-point spread on that game in favor of the Saints.
It'll be interesting.
All right, we should record that and see who actually got although I guess it's unfair when you pick a quarterback in there.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's all relative there.
Yeah, starting next week, we should do that, and we should track it and have it be you can't pick a quarterback, and we should see who gets the highest score.
Okay. All right, I'm in.
Or you know what's Grana? Do you want to do it
necessarily high? What would you be better is over projected?
Yeah, that's hard, but I know what you're saying. Why don't you just pick somebody that's not a quarterback this week?
Maybe like someone who I think could surprise you a little bit, per se.
That you think is going to put up the most amount of points
right now. I think it's going to be. I think Ezekiel Elliott could do it.
All right.
Even though I do like the Panthers front.
We'll do that as our first one. I think something we'll quickly review when we do our.
Okay, I'll use that one. I think their front with the Panthers front, it's tough, but I just think it's a big year for them. Right, they don't have to force the ball to Des Bryant anymore. They don't even have Jason Witten. Dak isn't firing it down the field. Where's the ball going to go?
I got it. I got it documented. We'll keep an eye. We'll take it.
All right.
Yeah, I got it. I got a doc open. So
you guys enjoy the game.
man.
I'm glad it's back. We're gonna have some good stuff to talk about next week. Some rankings and see how everything goes.
Yeah.
That's
Can't wait to upset people.
Walking out. Sproles is absolutely a midget.
Yes, he is.
I think that's a pejorative term, Tamal.
Enjoy football.
I think they messed up the coin toss. I think they just got a pass interference on the coin toss. It was an incomplete.
Oh, really?
I don't think
that must be on delay or something. I didn't see it as quick as you here.
Yeah, they haven't tossed the coin yet.
Oh, just you wait. It's not a good one.
This is not good. This is not a good way to begin the season, guys.
All right, guys. I will talk to you.